Welcome to this presentation at the OSEP 2022 Leadership and Project Directors Conference on the topic of growing leadership capacity through local leadership.
In our old way of training and supporting staff, we used face-to-face meetings with sort of that spray and pray that was built on the expert model. And what we really found is they continued to rely on experts rather than knowing that they had those skills and competencies within their own programs and that anyone in the early intervention system could be a leader. One of the real light bulb moments for us was as we're developing and supporting staff and building leadership, that our professional development really linked to the evidence base. And so we wanted to close that loop of more than traditional professional development, but the impact on the evidence base within local leader development.
As a way of doing this, we created the POWR project, the Partnering for Outcomes with Real Meaning project. And to do this, we really took this philosophy that we'd been building, that it was important not only for experts in our state of North Dakota to go out and train, but to build local capacity, local interest and leadership in training topics so that those local program staff could engage locally their programs and create experts in the field.
One of the things that was really important is that we connect our system with what we do through our state systemic improvement plan. So through DEC, our evidence-based practice that we focused on was F6, in which practitioners engage the family in opportunities that support and strengthen parenting knowledge and skills and parenting competence and confidence in ways that are flexible, individualized, and tailored to the family's preferences. So we really wanted that to be at the forefront of all of our trainings, knowing that this outcome would come back to what the basis of those training and support for staff were all about. In looking at the POWR model, what we realized as we go through is we could look at evidence-based early intervention, we could look at strategies, we could look at outcomes, but in doing so, unless we looked at the overall early intervention system, we were always leaving someone out. And we wanted to be able to have information there for them at every point of early intervention so they could use what part of the model they needed, and that they could have it sort of from the beginning to end so that people would feel like they had that leadership ability to support staff in their individual programs. So these were the different areas that we covered. Looking at the basic, the bottom of it, the foundations of early intervention, then building on what authentic assessment is, up to looking at how does family assessment support outcomes so that we can get meaningful outcomes, and then have those high quality strategies to improve families' confidence and competence.
To do the POWR project, we needed POWR leads, and POWR leads were chosen through an application process in each program area. And we really asked coordinators, the leaders in the area, to consider other staff members to be the POWR lead so that they could grow leadership capacity in their program area. And we encouraged that service coordinators have a lead within their region, early intervention staff, and parents could join. The POWR leads' responsibilities were very specific. We asked them to attend monthly meetings so that we could talk together and prepare to discuss what training they would give and go slide by slide to talk about all those training topics that were in the pyramid. We also let them know that as the POWR lead, they were the main contact person, the main trainer, and the main collaborator in their region. They also had the power to make the content specific to meet that region or program area's individual needs. They'd also receive peer support and support from technical assistance in the state, and planning help and feedback.
One of the things that really we always kept in the forefront is that to get practice change, we knew that it couldn't just be an expert delivery where someone shares information with us, but they had to have time to really be able to work with that information if we wanted to increase their practice. So in addition to the information in the PowerPoints, there were different activities on discussion for peer-to-peer learning and learning from their peer lead. And that for each level in that POWR training, we had reflection questions where they could take it back to their practice if they were a early intervention person, a service coordinator, or a parent. What does this information mean to me as a parent so that I know I'm getting what I should from early intervention? And that same information, there were reflective questions for the early intervention provider and the service coordinator. What it really came, the focus that we wanted to end up with is that the POWR training ultimately was that we would end up with functional outcomes that were meaningful for families, so that we would have that full circle, close that loop, that if we're having individualized outcomes based on what's important to families, then we would have individualized services to improve the confidence and competence of parents.
Thank you for attending this training. And there is so much more that we'd love to talk about. So please feel free to contact Carol or myself. Have a great day.
Thank you.